Hello. Sorry about that. Yes, sorry, I forgot I had the mic on mute. Okay. Alright, so I'll go ahead and just repeat what I said real quickly. Our content is now available via podcast. I only have the session so far. I'm working on getting the Age of Ashes Aftermath audio uploaded to there as well, so please stay patient on that. And right now it's available on Podbean, which you can get for your Android or iPhone app. It is Pod, P-O-D, and then Bean, B-E-A-N. Alright, today with me I have Afrava, aka Randy, and we're just going to be reviewing Session 4 today. So, Randy, how do you feel Session 4 went in general?
Well, we survived, so that's a plus.
Surviving is pluses, yes. Surviving is good.
Yes, it is. Honestly, I actually enjoyed it. We explored a lot, and to my ever delight and shock, we leveled up.
Yeah, you guys will level up next session, but yes. So what do you think about the? I honestly feel like Age of Ashes, especially being that they designed this adventure path with an incompleted second edition system. I feel like it's very, very, very well balanced. From what I hear, a lot of people are just getting, or I shouldn't say a lot of people. The people I've talked to that have run the campaign past book 1 where you guys are at right now, a lot of GMs and players complain that they just get leveled by everything. I think yesterday went to show. I'm not saying that I went easy on you guys, because I don't feel I did. But I think it shows that extreme can be manageable depending on how it's presented as an encounter. What do you think?
As long as you approach it tactically and soundly, yeah, the team, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, to be honest, your
stream service just freaked out.
It did?
Oh my, yes.
What do you mean it freaked out?
My screen is my screen is a bright pink.
Try refreshing. I'm looking at my stream right now. Yeah, Terry says it's good on her side too. Go and refresh real quick.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, it looks fine now.
Okay. So what do you think? So that's why I think I called it wave style extreme counter or extreme encounter or something like that. Like essentially, it was extreme, but not like everyone knew exactly where you were immediately. It was like a 1 to 2 round later, these guys come, then these guys come, then these guys come. So, how do you think that went overall? Or granted, like obviously it went well because the party's alive. But like, did you enjoy that style?
Yeah.
You like that a lot?
Yeah, honestly, I love tower defense, and it is more manageable compared to coming at us all at once.
Yeah, because like all at once you're talking about an action. Because like what second edition, what I love about it so much is that it really comes down to a chess battle of action economy, tactics. You know, like when you really just break it down at its base level, it's like, okay, we're a party. We have 15 actions. We're going against enemies, let's say 3 enemies at the time. Or 2 enemies when you first went into that room. So we have 15 versus 6. Just by actions alone, we should win this. Like if it's a fair fight. Okay, now 3 more came into the room. We're now even and even. So now we have 15. We have 15 actions versus 15 actions. So I like that very quickly you guys had to make a decision. It's like, okay, because we all know how that goes when we ignore the weak one and we're like, okay, just go for the strong one. The weak one's not a threat, and then he just starts rolling bomb 19s and 20s, right?
Yeah, or
and
just
like
keeps critting and never stops.
oh yeah, he just keeps slapping, or even if it's not hurting you, like with damage, like let's say the like the tongue grab that the boggart had, right? You're flat-footed, you're immobilized, and that is the grab condition, right? So flat-footed and immobilized. If you want to use an attack or manipulate action, you got to roll a DC 5, and it's just annoying. Again, like, you have to make that decision. Do I blow my... Am I blowing my actions to take that chance with the DC 5? It's only a 20% chance, but we know how that goes too. It's only a 20% chance, but then you roll that 3, and you're like, wow, I'm glad I tried to attack, and now I can't. So... But all the same, I like how you guys decided to deal with it. You guys kind of did it what I call like reading style. You guys just literally chose a side and went to the other. So like you guys start on the left, just worked your way right. And so that, and like what made the action economy really show off too is, again, the door work. The door work was so, it made combat so interesting, where it was just like, hey, close the door. Baboon gets upset, opens the door again. Hey, close the door. So it's
again, it's a great way to burn action.
Yeah, it's all about this action, balance. Because it's like, okay, because like at that moment when Kaiser was talking about, Kaiser of Bulat like did the door swapping, that was one person on your team's actions. The rest of your team was still dealing or attempting to deal damage to a group, while the other half of the group is denied all their not all their actions, but has to burn so many actions just to re-enter combat with you, which is it's so awesome. Like, it's so awesome. I love the action economy of second edition. It is so it makes even fighting at low level really fun. I say really low levels below level 7. But like, or I say like below level 6. But like, I think it makes it just really, really great, and far more enjoyable than it usually is at that level. Usually it's move, attack. All right, move, attack. Okay, like, yeah, granted, you could say other games like, you could grab them or all these other things. Like, yeah, you could, but like, depending, like it's one of those things where like they clearly had pretty decent fortitude DCs, so like trying to grab or trying to trip was really hard, or not trip, because trip is reflex, but like they were pretty martial creatures, so like even Bulat was having trouble with like tripping and things like that. So it made it interesting. But I will ask you this. How about that frightened condition, huh? What?
Just by shouting, he frightened it.
One action. One action. You could do it every turn, no cooldown. It's like, man, that was annoying. It was super annoying. And what was crazy was like, it caused Rizor to not be able, to have to wait a whole nother round just to kill one of the boggards because he missed his attack because of frightened condition. Had he been able to rush over there to help Kaiser, because he popped his claws, moved over, went for the attack, and he was one shy of that AC because of frightened. That was crazy. That was crazy. But again, on the other token, Kaiser goes to, or Alec had just used Intimidating Strike, wham, hit one of the guys, didn't kill him. The boggart, or he rushed up to the creature to shove him, And the only reason Kaiser, who is not strong, he's athletic and he's quick, but he's not as strong, nowhere near as strong as Gulat. The only reason he got that shove attempt on him was because of Frightened. Because it's Frightened is now super scary compared to first edition Pathfinder.
Yeah, it is. A lot of them are fine compared to just one or two.
Yeah, because the what's crazy now, the reason why, because at first, like, I didn't think Frightened was a big deal, because it was like, oh, attack rolls, saves, DCs, okay, sure, but because Pathfinder 2nd Edition, your AC is a DC now. Because your AC, so armor class, for those not familiar, your armor class is the DC of someone making an attack roll against you. That's their DC they have to meet. So because Frightened now, or because your AC is now considered a DC or difficulty class, that being lowered on top of being flat-footed, on top of being clumsy, all affect your AC. All of them, on top of fatigued, all affect your AC. Like, it's scary. So when you flat-foot someone and make them frightened too, that's a -4 to AC, which is massive. That's a even if it's just one, a -3 to AC is a massive penalty. That's a really terrible chunk. And you just can't ignore it. You can't ignore it. So, I'm liking it more and more. In terms of like the conditions and all that stuff. I guess I'll ask you that. Do you feel like Frightened should lower your AC or not?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. You're terrified. You're not defending yourself.
Yeah, you're not as responsive to the threat.
Exactly.
To other threats around you, because a lot of people, and again, this is not just shit on 5e, but like I don't like the way 5e handled Frightened, where you couldn't get within 30 feet of your source. If the source was the only thing within 30 feet of you and you couldn't move 30 feet away from it, you just lost your turn. Like, the fuck? Okay. So, like, not that was a common occurrence, because other than that, it was, because, like, Frightened was that you can't even make an attack against your source of fright. Or basically any hostile action. Which was, like, so, again, if like, you're fighting a boss, or you're fighting even just a sub-boss, like, you have to just ignore that target. Which was kind of crazy to me, because it was like, but we're the heroes here, like in this particular, like we're the superhero, like we're the heroes or up and coming heroes. Like, what makes us adventurers is that, like, where most people would turn away and run, or most people would cower in fear, that's where we rise up, I don't know, like it always bothered me, the way, like, Frightened condition was done before. In first edition, I believe, let me see, in first edition, let me check the Frightened condition in 1E. Let's see, conditions, afflictions, hazards, nope.
There you go, Frightened.
Yeah, in 1E.
Yep. Let's see. A frightened creature flees from the source of its fear as best it can.
Yeah.
If unable to flee, it may fight. A frightened creature takes a -2 penalty to all attacks, saving throws, skills, and basically across the board.
Yeah,
AC,
just-
I believe.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, like, again, like, you just had to run. You just had to run. We're like, I like that they separate it now into frightened and fleeing. Like, you know, a lot of people I've had tried to have discussions with on YouTube for people who make content for both 5e and for Pathfinder. They say, you know, one of the biggest flaws that Pathfinder has, it has so many conditions. And I would argue that granted, it depends on, first of all, like, it depends on the experience you want. One, I like knowing that there are more conditions, because when you try to bottle everything into a third or even half the amount of conditions, it unintentionally shuts down player characters even more than conditions should. So let me go to that 1E real quick. Let's see. ID. Game mastering. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Game mastering. Conditions. Here we go. So, like, what was the other one? So, stunned. Yeah, so stunned in 1E meant that a stunned creature drops everything held, cannot take actions, takes a -2 penalty to AC, and loses its dexterity bonus to AC if any. Attackers also receive a +4 bonus on attack rolls to perform combat maneuvers against a stunned opponent.
Ooh.
It was insane.
Ooh,
It was insane. You're literally useless. You're useless. Like, not only that, like, imagine being that frontline barbarian, that fighter, that druid, or, you know, or whatever have you in the front, the rogue, and you, like, let's say you're fighting in this tower or whatever, and, like, you just drop everything. So now you gotta spend actions, you know, certain actions in 1E picking up your shit again, which provokes attack of opportunity, and it's just like, oh my gosh, like, what the hell? This is crazy. So, I was happy to see that, you know, again, they tried to make it more focused around, like, action economy when it came to things that were debilitating. Slowed. Okay, because, like, slowed in... Did they have slowed in 1E? No, they didn't.
I don't know.
They didn't. They didn't have slow. Let's see. Yeah, so, like, okay, we'll go over another one. Paralyzed in 1E. A paralyzed creature is frozen in place and is unable to move or act. A paralyzed creature has an effective dexterity and strength score of 0 and is helpless, but can take purely mental actions. Okay, so the way helpless worked in 1E, helpless meant that any attack roll made against that creature is a critical hit. Automatically. So as soon as, like, you hit level 7 or level 9 and you could get paralyzed and stuff, every motherfucker was rocking that stuff. Was rocking paralyzed because it was insane. It was insane. And so, again, I like the you know, because a lot of people say, oh, well, that doesn't make sense. If you're paralyzed, you shouldn't have an AC and all that stuff. You know, again, my argument is AC doesn't even, like, in second edition Pathfinder, AC doesn't even mean that someone doesn't hit you. It's just that they don't hit you well enough to inflict damage upon you. So, at least that's how I see it. That's the difference for me. How do you feel about that?
No, you have it about right.
Okay. Because if you think about it, like, yes, okay, if you got this level 10 fighter and he's literally paralyzed, a commoner could come up to him and go, huh, and hit him with a stick. He's probably not gonna actually hit the fighter hard enough, who's level 10 and the commoner is level 0 or level 1. He's just not gonna hit him hard enough to actually inflict any damage. Oh, how you doing, Marv? Thanks for the follow, man. Welcome to the stream. It's just a talk show here. But like, again, I like the approach of that. Because again, it's just like, no, you probably hit him. It's just, you just, the scale here. All right, well, thanks for dropping by. Yeah. But I would like to add a new segment to this stream, if you don't mind. I'd like to go over some of the memes made this past few days, and go over some of those moments if you're down with that.
Yes, those are the best parts, honestly.
All right, I'm just gonna put this in the bottom left here. All right, so one does not simply hit their target with attack of opportunity. Okay, this one is Alec, man. I don't know if you realized he missed every prepared strike with his halberd. Every single one.
Yep. Yeah.
Which was wild.
I am too.
Because what was crazy was when it was his turn, though, he was like, wham! And he was just like taking, it was like power attack, crit, normal attack, crit. Just like,
oh yeah, he was smashing them.
He was
hands
smashing
down.
people. And oh yeah, while we're on that topic, did you like all roles public? I actually liked it. I liked all public roles. I didn't think I would like it. I love it. I actually love it because you guys know, it's one of those things where I'm not fudging, and you guys know I'm not fudging. And the only thing you guys don't see is the, you liked it too, Terry? The only thing you guys don't see, unfortunately, is like the creature's abilities. Those I still keep behind the screen.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. We don't need that.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm definitely a big fan. Let me go ahead and just readjust this here. There we go. Okay, so one does not simply hit their target with an attack of opportunity. All right, the next one we have is one for you, my friend. One does not simply treat wounds on Kaiser. Would you like to go ahead and explain that one?
Yeah. If you all have been watching and keeping close attention, I have failed more often than not healing him. Heal any other PC or myself, I crit.
Now,
But when it comes to him,
yeah, I don't think you've actually succeeded on me yet. I think the only time you succeeded on him was when we did our practice session before we actually did like our first live game.
yeah, the little test dungeon. Yeah, that's the only time I actually managed to heal him. Other than that, it's good berry, or it's a potion.
Or it's a potion. And speaking of potions, man, how about that moderate elixir of life, man?
Yeah, that got him.
That was clutch. That was super clutch.
Yeah. I'm just happy I didn't roll all once, honestly. Because my luck,
all right.
Effectively.
So the next one is, I call it Blue Lot in a nutshell, because I really do feel it is. So it's the meme with the car peeling hard, right? Because
Oh,
yeah, and what's funny is like he usually he doesn't say, "Oh, I just want to grab it." He usually says, "I want to grab this fool," and so I had to put this fool in there. I thought that was a good time because he's always, "I'm grabbing this fool." I'm like, "All right, man, do your thing." And so, yeah, Bula, he likes to crowd control out the gate before he attacks. Which I'm a big fan of, and I like that he's because like we didn't discuss this, but I like that he's embraced the will save on certain damage, because it's part of his character arc to overcome like the way he uses rage right now is more like from anger, and later on it's going to be like a meditative heightened state. Yeah, like it's an inner peace. But for now, like I like that I think he just really I like that he just kind of held and clutched it tight, and instead of being like, whoa, like I love that he was like, it just enhanced his experience, and he ran with it, and I think he loved the idea of when he takes like almost half his HP in damage. I'm like, yo, roll will save. Let's see if Bulat's gonna lose his shit. And he's like, oh no! And so like it's fun, and I'm glad he's embraced it. It's been a good time. All right, the next one we have is the one because of Horizor keeps bringing it up. It's whenever Kaiser sees a doll. The Fry from Futurama face. For those who are unaware, in session 2,
I think so too.
2. No, 3. Episode session 3. When they fought a soul-bound doll, Rizor decided to keep it. And so he always messes around with Kaiser because this thing almost one-shot Kaiser. Not one-shot to death, but like almost one-tapped him down to like dying too. So Kaiser hates dolls now, so I love it.
Yeah, it's a little bit of fool.
All right, and this was this was for me, but I like this one a lot because it worked out well. So I'm not even mad. And I was like it kind of has like a double meaning, I feel. Because as much as like GMs look forward to like I look forward to presenting challenging encounters, I hate TPKs. I'm okay with throwing an encounter that could be a TPK, but when you become an experienced player, you know when the GM's just trying to kill you versus present you a difficult task. I honestly put the glasses on the little girl because I was like, I am really looking forward to seeing how my party deals with this. And it turned out so swimmingly well. And I'm glad it did.
Yep, same.
Alright, next one. Sorry, what's that?
Honestly, I was shocked that we had that many enemies left in the dang temple. I'm like, oh, we got like 1 or 2.
Oh, we got like 1 or 2 rooms, no big deal. Easy, dude. And then we got this one I like because of Terry with Ceruleana asking if they could take a break. It was pretty funny, you know.
Yeah.
Siri
Well,
goes,
to be fair, I was out of spells too. So
hey, no, man.
Oh yeah, let's take a break.
Well, yeah, because it was funny because Terry was telling me, she was like, man, it sucks being out of spell slots. I'm like, yeah, no shit. yeah, it does. It really does. later level, you know, because what's fun about later level when you're like level 7, level 9, and obviously way beyond, like, worst case scenario, you still got some like second level spells or first level spells to fall back on and stuff like that. So, you know, there's usually at least some touch up you can do, which is it's pretty great.
Yes, it is. And next level, we get second level spells. So
hey.
that's great.
And speaking of next level, the next meme is the insider knowledge the players have. Because I did tell them that the XP they gained would level them to level 3. The next session after they, I'm the GM that likes the long rest level up, unless it's like that much higher level, like above level 15, where like they literally just like kind of tap and trigger into that next power, because at that level when you're fighting like higher level devils and demons and daemons and even celestials sometimes, and just add these crazy aberrations and all that stuff. It's like sometimes you need that, like not necessarily like kind of like that Diablo feeling where like you cleared this room knowing that you still have the rest of the complex left, but like, oh, you got that Diablo next level, boom, like right away, and like, and right when you need it, like right when you need it. Not that I'm saying I give everyone full HP when you level and all that stuff, but
nope.
No, I don't. But
no, like, he doesn't.
Yeah,
he'd love it, but no.
At those higher levels, like I feel like you're at that point where like you're just tapping into, like you're just learning how to tap into more of your own power or more of your own, you're in a power, inner confidence, or like you're unlocking those mysteries when it comes to like divinity or arcane power or occultism and all that stuff. So like I feel like at that level you don't really need to rest to gain a level when you've gained a level, but that's just, again, that's how I run things. So, and it's worked out pretty well so far, I feel. So,
oh yeah,
because like, you know, it kind of it makes the enjoyment of the role play, you know, and forgive my pun here, with the aftermath of battle and really kind of settling down, being like, holy crap, that was crazy. And so like when you finally do come to rest, like I love, I've always used I've been using the terminology, as you find rest, you wake up with renewed strength, because that's just pretty much what it is. Like you know, at lower levels, or, you know, up to that like level 15 ratio, you're still learning. And so when you wake up with that renewed strength, it's like, again, it's not something you've learned to be able to just tap on the spot. And so I feel like it's something that you get after you rest. But
agreed.
Or whether it could be like, if you're a druid, like having a meditation, communing with the spirits and stuff like that, or however that's done. So multiple ways of doing it. This next one is the infamous Siri moment, when Siri was struggling with what to do with that third action of hers, where they're like, I guess I'll just aid, I guess I'll just, you know, that, and then all of a sudden when she realized she had a bow, she's like, oh yeah, and then everyone's like, hey, you got that bow though.
And proceeds to crit.
And proceeds to like crit, yeah, it was pretty crazy. Because she got the killing blow, I believe. She got the killing blow.
Yeah, she did. 2 last enemies, I believe it was, yeah.
Yeah. But speaking of that, we have some very interesting news. Again, I'm trying to kind of, I should say this. I myself have been trying to help Terry figure out the class she wants to really, really be, and what she would enjoy the most. Terry loves playing a support character, and she didn't want to play a Life Oracle, because Life Oracle is actually really fucking hard to play well. It's really, really hard to play well, and that's because you can't be healed once you get into your moderate curse. Or no, your minor curse. I believe it's your minor curse. Once you're in your minor curse, your heals are D12s instead of D8s, but you can no longer be healed by the heal spell. So, or it's something of the sort. I'd have to look at it. It's, either way, it's pretty extreme. Let me see. The classes.
Yeah. Let's see. Bones, Cosmos, Flames. Oh. Let's see. Basically, you hurt yourself as your life force seeps out of you, healing others. Effects that restore your hit points to you take level, minimum 1. The number of hit points you recover. That's your minor. So you basically you get healed less.
Let me see. Curse of Outpouring Life. So yeah, it's the moderate curse. Yeah, with minor curse, you heal less to yourself. And with moderate curse, you cannot be healed by magical effects originating from other creatures. You can only heal yourself. But if you are unconscious, you can be healed by healing elixirs, potions, and other items. When you cast heal and target other living, and all your targets are living creatures, they're D12 instead of D8s. Whenever you finish canceling a non-cantrip spell, you restore hit points equal to the spell level of your choice to either one of the target of the spell, or the creatures nearest to you. You cannot target yourself, which is pretty crazy. Yep. Like, it's crazy strong and crazy cool, but the problem is, like, it's really hard to play. Like, if you're like Terry understands that she's a she's experienced, but nowhere near as experienced as most of the rest of us. Like, Jordan's brand new too, but Jordan's been playing games and like that for a long time, so he's quicker to pick up on some of this stuff than Terry is. Terry's just new to gaming in general, so, and that's okay. And so one thing I've been looking into, or it was funny that Fuji and I were talking about this yesterday, or Paul. We were like, oh man, do you know how cool it would be to make an astrologian from Final Fantasy XIV? They have some healing, but they're predominantly a support class from Final Fantasy XIV. Well, let me go ahead and share my screen here. I'll put it in the, let me see how I can share this. Let me do a window capture, I guess. Add source, new source, Chrome. Let's see, Chrome. Look at that. You see it?
Nothing yet.
You don't see it?
I don't know. Oh, there it is. There it goes.
Yeah. It's literally the... Let me go ahead and crop it a bit so you don't see the taking up the whole screen. Sorry about that, guys. 1 second here. Let me crop it on the right by about, like, oh, I don't know, 1,000 pixels. That's nowhere near enough. Let me try 8,000. That's too many. How about 2,000? Let's try 3,000. That's too many. 2,500. This is super. I'm gonna put this on the right side here. So let me see if I can zoom into this. So okay, so here's the astrologian. This was obviously made in the community on the Scribe Tools website. Nothing against this person. I really appreciate the work they've done. However, I would definitely tune some of these beats they have and all that stuff. But here's a general breakdown of the class. Let me go ahead and get rid of the meme in the background there. So every man has coveted knowledge, and none more so than that of his fate. Thus he did labor to master the skill of foresight, but initial efforts bore little fruit. That is, until he looked to the stars above, which foretell the coming seasons, and learned to read the heavens. This is the logo straight from Final Fantasy XIV for the class. They are an intelligence-based divine caster. Which is different, because usually it's wisdom.
Right.
Now, one of the big gripes I have about this is that they're spontaneous according to the way he has it set up. So again, with homebrew, like, I think a lot of people have great ideas, like I said, because this is a great idea, and it's but like there are problems when you don't follow the standard design of like class design in Pathfinder, because you might unintentionally not even break the class, you might actually hurt the class more than you intend to. And where I'm coming from with this is they made this a spontaneous caster. Now the reason why that wouldn't work just from a base design perspective is no class that uses either intelligence or wisdom is a spontaneous caster. If you use wisdom or intelligence, it's because it's taught to you or given to you by a deity. If your charisma, like the bard, the oracle, the sorcerer, all those come from within and are later honed, and your character or your character learns how to control and manipulate them over time. Again, and that whole coming from within thing is what makes it charisma. When you're, like I said, like a wizard has never been spontaneous and will never be spontaneous, because they use their intelligence and their study to train. So the issue I have with this out the gate is, and it wouldn't be a big change, is the fact that it's spontaneous. I think that's kind of silly. If you're gonna go with intelligence, I'd make it a prepared divine caster. Prepared divine casters work just fine. Like, you've seen the cleric, it works just fine. So that's one of my gripes I have about it. But essentially what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be taking this, remaking it in the way I would allow it, giving him the credit because it's his thing, and just making it explain that it's my variation or my variant of the class that he's created. So what is interesting though is so I don't know if you've ever seen that art before, is they have this device here called a star globe. And the reason why I would consider this for Terry is, do you see where I'm pointing with my mouse on her hip? That like dark blue device, do you see that?
On my screen, I'm still staring at the class features.
Okay. You should see it here in a few seconds.
Oh, it's fine. All right, the blue thing on her hip, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if you can see it in detail, but essentially you see that she has a card in her hand and cards around the globe. So a tarot, a Pathfinder Hero deck is separated into the 6 ability scores, or at least like they have their own name, but they're separated into the 6 ability scores of the game of Pathfinder. These sleeves they have here literally hold the cards in a pretty much in like a mini pocket dimension, and the card that spawns whenever they draw a card, they draw from the star globe that hovers around, or the cards that hover around it, are completely random because you don't know which card is going to come from your card sheath, is I think what they call the card sheath. Like, they don't know which one's going to be drawn. It's completely random. It's it's all fate based. So the way the astrologian works is they literally draw a card, and then based on and they can only do it once per turn, and based on their d6 roll, it presents which arcanum you can use, and then the arcanum have different abilities like status bonus to damage, like a +1 bonus to damage rolls, resistance equal to half your level for 1 round, because all these last 1 round. The arrow is quickened for 1 round, which is essentially 1 round of haste. Spear is +1 status bonus to attack rolls. Ewer is the spell DCs of that target increase for 1 round. And then Spire is the target gains a +1 status bonus to AC for 1 round. And so it's this symphony and pattern of you draw the card and then you can play the card as a free action, and you don't have to play it on that turn. You can wait until the next turn if you wanted to, or whatever. But what's really interesting is they're extremely support based, because later on they can let's see, you can get Royal Road, which is one of their feats. Essentially you can take a card, burn a card, and the next card you play is super empowered. So yeah, it's as an example, let's say we're using the arrow card as our example. The target becomes quickened 1 for 1 round, and they can use their action to step, stride, or strike. Right, just standard haste stuff. Right. If I burned the arrow card, and then I use Royal Road, and let's say I drew Spire, which is the +1 to AC. Because I burned arrow, the effect lasts for 3 rounds, and so if I played Spire, when I chose that target that I give that +1 AC to, boom, they get it for 3 rounds instead of 1. So they can enhance how their cards work, and then we'll play that in reverse. If I had the Spire card, which is +1 to AC, and I burned it, and then I drew the arrow card, which is the haste. If you look at that Royal Road, if I were to burn the Spire card and I were to play arrow, now the effects of that card, which is the haste for 1 round, is given to all my allies within 30 feet of me. So you can. It's a very strategic. You really gotta be strategic on how you use it. It's pretty dope. And then to top it off, they can stand in 2 different stances, and because they're all about astrology, they have a sun stance, which is called diurnal, and they have a nocturnal stance for night. With the diurnal stance, they enhance basically they can give a small bit of fast healing if they cast any kind of healing spells, and if they cast with the nocturnal stance, let me see, I'm pretty sure, they give temporary hit points instead. So it's really kind of how you want to go about things. and being that like Terry's character is all about her fate and all that stuff, I'm gonna essentially build one of these for her and see if she likes it. She seems to like the concept of it, you know, because I even showed her like some of the gameplay from Final Fantasy and all that stuff, and she thought it was pretty cool looking. We'll see. You know, nothing's set in stone, but you know, I'm trying to make it to where everyone's comfortable, because basically the way if anyone wants to make changes, like big changes and all that stuff, I'd ask that they do that before we're done with book 1, because once we're done with book 1, that's pretty much lock-in. So like, because she's making this, because one thing you have to understand too is the Astrologian has a lot of healing and a lot of support, like even AoE healing. So if you see, you know, because she can do some pretty decent healing and stuff, if you want to kind of like, you don't have to super invest into healing now, or like, you know, granted you could like invest into your medicine and all that, but because Terry's here now, if you want to kind of dip a little bit into the wild order, or you want to kind of change some things up, I will allow that, just because, like I said, now that we have 5, it's a little different. Like you have more leniency, and you're not just the soul healer anymore. You guys are kind of sharing that weight, so if you want to make any of those changes, I'll allow for that too. But
all right, I'll think about it. I do, honestly.
No, that's good. No, that's good, and keep it up, because you know, if she gets into this Astrologian thing, which I think she will. Like I said, I have to. Oh yeah. So last thing about Astrologian, and we'll go ahead and wrap this up today. So she has the Star Globe. You must have a Star Globe in a hand to cast spells as an Astrologian, right? So my idea of how I was going to combat this, because obviously it'd be really weird if like someone was like she had a staff in one hand and this globe in the other, and was like, I use my staff and my globe in my other hand. It would look really weird. Like, it's because it's a really big device, you know, and it, like, it takes a lot of room. Yeah, it'd be really weird to see this person with like, oh, I have a rapier in my other hand, haha. So it'd be like, huh? You know, so to combat that, what I've chosen to do with the Star Globe is, I would allow her to take a magic item and have that Star Globe be capable of duplicating that item's effects. And here's what I mean. So let's take Staff of Healing, 4th level item. She would need to know the formula of the item. So either A, she could reverse engineer one, or B, she could buy the formula, which for 4th level is 5 gold. Then she would need to attempt the crafting check as if she was going to make the staff, use all the materials and all that stuff, and then she would imbue all those magical materials into the Star Globe, and the Star Globe would function as a Star Globe for the purpose of being able to cast spells and also have the ability to be a staff. Make sense?
Yeah.
So like, essentially, her globe is one of her invested items, where she would normally have an invested item in her other hand. Like, if she was, so like, it's kind of both. And when she, like, now I did tell her, I said, if you know, because she goes, oh my god, I love that idea. And I said, okay, now the caveat to that is, when it comes to making items, or when it comes whenever you can, you must keep up with the most recent potency rune for the globe. But so like at level 2, you can make +1 globe. Now obviously right now you guys are in the heat of things, but I'm in downtime. So she makes the +1 globe. What I'll also allow is the +1 globe, since it is kind of her weapon. I would allow that +1 to also add to her spell attack roll and her spell DC. So again, so now, because again, it is pretty much her weapon. It is what allows her to do everything she can do. So it's like she's not gonna have a physical weapon of pretty much any kind, other than like maybe a dagger on her hip. But like not anything that's like really, dangerous or anything. So what do you think? What do you think of that design? You think that's pretty cool, or do you think it's fair? First of all, I guess I'll say that.
I think it's fair as of right now until we test it. It's only a hypothesis, but I actually wouldn't mind trying it. Yeah, let her try it.
Yeah, I think, because like the thing is, I don't think it's ever gonna. Because like here's how I see it. Let's say you have a +1 sickle, and like Kaiser Arya right now already has a +1 to his attack, and he's level 2. Bulat will get one, and I'm sure that Rizor and Bulat will get their hand wraps of Mighty Fists as soon as they are done with book 1 and they can craft. They're like, we're crafting this shit, so that they can get those things, because +1 to your unarmed strike is like it's too good like to pass up, right? So the thing is, like, the way I see it is, she would be progressing at the same rate as everyone else anyway, and or if not, she'd probably be one step behind. And either way, how do I put this? Either way, like, she would be not incapable of using physical weapons, but like there would be no real need for her to use a physical weapon. If that makes sense. Just because like the Star Globe is everything, So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, let me think. I think that's did you have anything okay, what would you say was the MVP moment of the last session?
Ooh, there's so many. I wouldn't call it an MVP, but I love it when Alec couldn't hit for his attack of opportunity. Honestly, that's the most memorable. He prepares an attack. He goes for it, and he misses.
And that's a miss.
Actually, I do have a question.
You're breaking up a bit. What's up?
Can you hear me now?
I can now. Yep, you're good.
Opportunity. But if he does, would he get 2 since he still has the usual one?
Okay. You broke up for some of that, but if I heard you right, if someone prepared an action and has opportunity of attack, do they get, or attack of opportunity, do they get both? Is that your question?
Correct.
No, you only have one reaction. Well, no. If it's a prepared action, no, because I do think it's still a no though. Let me check though, because let me go to Compendium and open readied action, because here's the crappy part. I really think it's still just tied to your reactions, which really kind of sucks. Encounter mode. Okay. Ready in action. Yeah. If the trigger designated occurs before the start of your next turn, you can use the chosen action as a reaction. Yeah, so, no.
Alright, well, there you go.
No.
I was worth a try. Alright, well, I'm set then.
Alright, no, good question. Alright, well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here then. Thanks for those listening in. If you're listening on the podcast, thanks for listening in. And there'll, of course, be the outro. But be sure to check us out on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and all that fun stuff. And be sure to definitely check out our podcast on Podbean, which you can download on the Apple or Android or the Google Play Store. So with that, we hope you all have a wonderful night, and we'll see you Sunday.